So thus far we've discussed the ACT model, which is more a theoretical model for setting up a content strategy. But what we want to do is we want to incorporate the ACT model into a content goal matrix, which is a more applicable model to select your content, create your content for the right audience, for the right goals, etc., etc. So what I've done here on this whiteboard is I've combined those two models, and you can see some of the elements of each model are represented in these columns. For instance, the ACT model is represented inside the audience column, is represented inside the content column, and inside the technology column. Now I've added two columns, which are the action column and the priority column, and those are specifically aimed for a content goal matrix. So what we want to do with this model is we want to start with your audience. So who's the audience in mind that you want to target your website to? So let's say, for instance, you just gave the example of that an important target audience for you is a wholesale buyer. Let me quickly write it down. Excuse me for my handwriting already, but wholesale buyer in the home deco industry inside Germany. So that's one of your key target audiences. So what do you want to do with this audience? What do you want them to do after they or during their visit of your website? So let's say you want them to do an RFP, which is of course, as we discussed earlier, a request for proposal. If you want them to make an RFP, you need to give them a reason to do an RFP. And what is the most important reason for them to do an RFP? It's content. It's the way you present content, it's the type of content that you present. So what we need to decide now is what kind of content do we need in order to persuade this target audience to do a RFP. Well, of course, let us do a quick list. We start off with your product information itself. So you need visuals. You need visuals of the products you have on offer. What type of visuals? Well, we need them high res, in high resolution. Why? Because a wholesale buyer is primarily interested in the smaller details of your product. So it's important to give them high res images. Do we just need images, or do we need a little bit more moving images, for instance, like videos? Well, let's say it will definitely help them make up their mind a little bit faster. So we write down video. So let's stop there. I think if we continue a little bit more, we will be able to make a much longer list, but for now this is enough. So once we've determined what type of content do we need in order to persuade the audience, the target audience, to do an RFP, we need to decide on how can we present this type of information. Well, normally you would just create a website, and every web page would contain images, would contain a lot of text, would contain pictures, videos, and whatsoever. But for buyers, it's also important to share the information inside their own company. So it's probably easier for them to download a brochure and use that brochure to go to their boss or to their colleagues. So now it brings us to the technology column. Because if we want to bundle all this content into a easy to use format, we want to create PDFs. Now with a PDF, it's important to realize that everything you put inside a PDF, it's a lot of content, but it necessarily is not content that, for instance, search engines can actually recognize and make sure that you will get ranked higher inside the search engines. So an alternative that you could think of is if you put the PDF and upload it to SlideShare, which, as you remember in the module social media, is a great business-to-business tool for uploading content and sharing it with the world. If you upload it to SlideShare and embed it on your own website, you actually have two benefits. One is everything is structured in a clear manner on your own website, and the secondly is your content is also available outside of your own website, making sure that it will be found by potential buyers outside of your website, increasing the chances that you will actually get more clients. And the final column is probably the most important column. It's your priority listing. So it determines how much effort and how much time and how much money are you going to invest in order to make sure that this type of content is presented the most beneficial way. So let's say that your German target audience is prio number 1. We'll put a prio A over here.